Inside your bedroom, we stopped counting the days, lost in the rhythm.
Big A got him, so you know I got him.
Hi, hello. I am sweaty and drinking a protein shake. Okay, this video has taken a little bit for me to get around to filming. I'm not gonna lie, I'm doing a really bad job of filming this monthly challenge progress because it's all distance running. So, surprise if you didn't read the title of the video already. I am trying to get back into distance running. Let's move somewhere where the lighting's a tad better first. Okay, firstly, hi, hello. If you don't know who I am, my name is Amy Prokopis. I am a fantasy romance author. I am self-published, and I have 8 books out, 7. The 8th one is a omnibus of my trilogy. So 7 stories total. So I used to be a long distance runner. And when I say I used to be, I mean that I became one later in life. I was in like my mid-20s, not even mid-20s because I started earlier than that, but I ran half marathons and I was in the middle of training for a full marathon. I was up to 16-mile long runs, and that's when I found out my body was just not adapting. Suddenly I was like gaining weight, which makes no sense when you're running 16 miles at least once a week. And then on top of that, training runs. And so I found out extremely early, I was only like 6 weeks, that I was pregnant. And so I stopped marathon training, and life happens. You're just having a baby, career change happens, authordom really blew up. And now here we are, and I haven't run a race in ages, which I kind of miss. I miss those kinds of, like those hitting those goals. I really do. And I have not long distance run in a very long time. The longest I have run since that point is probably like 5Ks. So 3 miles-ish. And I've never fully fallen out of running shape. I can still run a mile quite comfortably. That's what I just did today. Just an easy mile, but I really miss it. And so I started this challenge mostly just to get back into something I really enjoyed, something I was really missing. I have found out that when something that was originally a hobby becomes more of a business venture and becomes more of like involved in your work life, and your hobby no longer is just a hobby, it's now making you money. You need to find something to do strictly for fun, for no other reason except that it's something for you to achieve. It's a personal goal for you, and it's fun. And so running was that for me. It cleared my head after a really long day because I love running after work. I don't wake up to run. I run after the day's over to clear my head. It works out a lot of my stress. I've been really forthcoming on this channel. If you don't know, I am also preparing to be a mental health counselor. I'm planning on being an LPC. I am like I'm waiting on a letter away from testing and starting my work as an LPC in addition to my author life. So I have a lot of things going on, and it's time that I get back to the things I enjoy just for me, which is running, and it takes care of my stress. And I know as I add LPC and stuff onto my plate, I'm going to need something to sort of unwind and relax. So I am excited to reincorporate running into my life. So this challenge has been really just to jumpstart back into distance running. So the title is not fully accurate. I'm not like running miles upon miles. I'm jumpstarting a long distance training plan. So I sat down, I already drafted out some stuff. I have a half marathon race in mind that I would really like to run. And I'm not quite at the point yet where I need to actively start training for that because that race is not until September. They haven't actually announced the official date for that, but it's always the first couple weeks of September. And so I have plenty of time to train for it. And so I have been using this challenge to jumpstart that journey because it has been a little while since I've been regularly distance running. So yes, it is actually, what is it? The 18th, 19th? It's the 19th of February. So I have been doing this challenge already up to this point, and I would like to outline what I did and why I did not record a lot of like B-roll footage and stuff for you guys. So you may already be able to kind of tell, but since it's distance running, the entire point of this challenge is running. And so honestly, aside from like the setting, there's nothing that changes from one run to the next that you guys can see. I can tell you how they're different, which is what I'm going to do. But I've been running on the treadmill because it has been freezing where I live. And so there hasn't really been an opportunity except one day this month that I got out to run the neighborhood. So that's just not fun footage to like record on repeat. Me just running. I've already recorded a lot of that kind of footage, I think, and it's already redundant. You guys will see it or have already seen it in this video. So I did not record a lot of it. Originally, I was going to record at least something from every run, mostly for like accountability's sake. And then I realized this is not just an accountability thing. This is also supposed to be a fun video for you guys to watch, and for me to explain the growth progress. And that's more interesting, at least to me, than just seeing a bunch of footage of somebody running just to prove that they're running. So take my word for it. I've been running. Now, let's get into what I've been doing. So I have, over the years of my running, through my 20s at least, I played with a lot of different running schedules and running, like how many times a day I go on runs. And I have found out that the sweet spot for me that does not lead to injury, and I also tend to get tendonitis and plantar fasciitis in the bottom of my feet. And I have found out that if I run more than 4 days a week, I tend to be overdoing it on my body. My body may be able to run that much. Honestly, I can, but my joints and my ankles and feet cannot. So it's not like a muscular thing. It's different. And so when I run more than that, I start to get injuries. And so I run 4 days a week. And I do 4 different kinds of runs. Let me tell you about them. So let's start at the beginning of the week. I like to start with Mondays. Right now, I am running Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then once on the weekend, which is usually Sunday. Once I start working as an LPC, I think I'm going to be moving those runs to Tuesday, Thursday, and then Saturday, Sunday. However, right now, for this video, I've been running Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. So Monday are strength runs. So for a strength run, it's for me usually like some kind of hill run. So I'll either run hills or an incline on the treadmill, maybe do some sprints. I don't do sprints on those days. Really just hill or incline. Or I will do the run and then I will do some type of strength exercises. So my plan for next week is on those days to do my run on the treadmill at the gym. And then I plan on going over to the machines and do some lower body workouts to do muscular stuff to increase my strength in my legs predominantly on those days. Next run, Wednesday. Wednesdays, I'm usually doing a speed run, usually. And so those are days when I try to push my stamina a little. I don't overdo it. So ultimately, what I do is I'm running at like a comfortable pace, and then I will run for a little bit of an interval just past that. Not to the point of like exhaustion where you feel like you're huffing and puffing, but to the point where I can start to like feel a little bit of the struggle, and then you back off a little bit. So you're just testing your limits is what what you're really doing when you do those things. And so typically I'm running sprint intervals. I'm very careful not to overexert myself on those days because you don't want to, I'm not maxing out here. I'm just gradually increasing my pace. And so those days are speed days. And so I do that. And in the future in the gym, I might make those do some lighter upper body strength exercises to take a little bit off of my legs on those days. So those are Wednesdays. Fridays are more of a pacing day. So that doesn't necessarily mean I'm like running really fast. It means I'm trying to run like a little bit quicker, but at a consistent pace. And so those days I'm trying to shoot for like an overall goal time, how fast I would like to run that. So that is what those days are. And the weekends, the Sunday run is the long run. So those are the days when I do my long distance runs. So right now, that's not very long. I'm running like a mile and a half. I'm focusing in this challenge on getting like a really strong base. That way I can start building on it. And hopefully the end result will be that my half marathon time is at least as good or close to as what it used to be. And then I can improve from there. That's the goal. Or faster, which would be nice. So that's the plan. Something that's kind of hard to explain is how I scale out my long distance running routines. So if you look up any running like schedule for marathon training, half marathon, any of that, you're going to see mileage per week, not just like per day. So I actually scale my plans out a little bit longer than a typical marathon, half marathon schedule is. Mine end up being like 2 weeks-ish longer than a lot of the plans you'll find online. And I do that because I have found out that if I run too much at one given time, more than like the 4 days a week, it starts to tear up my muscles and mess up my joints and stuff. So, because I do have a lot of past injuries, specifically in my ankles. And so I've just learned that if I stick to those kinds of plans, I'm not successful, not because I'm not capable of it, but just because my injuries start to flare up and I start to get inflammation in the joints. So I scale mine out a couple more weeks and start earlier, which is all it is. So I increase my weekly mileage quite conservatively. So I only increase it, I'd have to look again to see exactly, but I'm only increasing it like a mile and a half per week. So it's a gradual build. And because it is a gradual build, this is one of my favorite. I love to hand off my running plans to friends, especially people who are like brand new to running or would like to get into running, because it challenges you, but it also feels incredibly easy because you're doing it so gradually that it's actually really easy to build up your stamina over time. I think this is a great plan for like older individuals as well. People that maybe cannot like physically do quite as much all at once. Don't just like snap back into shape the way you do when you're younger. So I love this running plan. It's easy. It's really easy to follow. You're only committing to 4 days a week and you increase your mileage very, very slowly because you're just spending more time on it. So that is how I do it. This is not a running plan that I have found online. This is one I built for myself based on a lot of the things I just told you guys. What I found out works best for me. The 4 days a week, I took things from other plans and routines, and I still customize and do things based on feel. So if I had a long run and then maybe we went and did some activity over the weekend, like hiking, or we were outdoors a lot with our son or something, and my body is still a little bit tight come Monday for that hill run, I'll just back it off a little bit more. So I adjust a lot to my body and how I feel. And honestly, when you're distance running, you are burning off so much energy all the time that one, you have to eat all the time, which is kind of fun when you're marathon training, being able to sit down, eat a gigantic plate of pasta and feel like, oh yeah, I feel great. That was like, I feel comfortably full now. And I ate my weight in pasta. So that's kind of fun. But also because you're burning so much energy off and you're having to pay attention to those things like pacing and how much you can push yourself on like those speed runs and stuff, you get to know your body extremely well. And so what I found, especially when I'm in my tip-top distance running shape, is I figure out pretty fast when I'm like when I'm getting sick, if I'm catching a cold, because my body reacts quite differently and I know it so well that I can tell. That is how I found out so early that I was pregnant. Most people don't know at 6 weeks. Most people don't even know to take a pregnancy test at like 6 weeks. And I just knew because things in my body had just shifted. And it was only because I was training so intensely that I noticed it. So it's a great way to get to know your body. Now I'm just up on a tangent. I love distance running. So that's what I've been doing. So I haven't actually been running very far. It has been going really well. Like I said, I'm just jump starting stuff. I'm trying to get a really good base going. So yes, I could push myself and run further distances than just like a mile at a time. I'm actually thinking maybe this next week or two doing long runs of a mile and a half, which is not very far. I could do that now, but I just want to build up my muscles first. I'd kind of like to do some other things at the gym as well. So I said next week I'm planning to go to the actual gym to run and not just running on my treadmill at home. And I would like to do this because one thing I didn't do a lot in my past running life, I really didn't incorporate gym workouts very often. Like I didn't lift weights often. I didn't do a lot of strength training. I tried to build my strength training into my runs. So like I would do some pretty difficult hill runs to build up strength, and that works and that's great. But now that I'm getting older, and I say that loosely because I'm not old. I'm going to be 31 this year. But now that I'm starting to get older, I'm trying to be more cognizant of other health things. And I know that lifting weights is really good for your bones and it's just great in general. And incorporating weightlifting into my running routine will help with stability. And one thing I notice a lot that I do, besides the feet and the joint issues, if I run too much, one thing I do struggle with, regardless of how often I run, is like my hip flexors tightening up and like my hips in general kind of aching. And I think part of that is a stability thing in my core and my back since I had my son. Before I was pregnant, I actually had I had a pretty nice looking six pack, not gonna lie, from my days as like an athlete. I grew up through school cheerleading, and that's just tumbling in general will build up quite the core. And so I had a really nice six pack going. And then as soon as I got pregnant, it pretty much went away and it hasn't really come back. That's something a lot of people struggle with post-pregnancy is like core issues. And so I would like to incorporate weightlifting at least to kind of help with that as well. So I may target that a little bit more in those plans. I don't know. That's a next week thought. But I just wanted to update you guys because I haven't done a very good job filming for that video. And yes, I did just go on a run. So I'm going to finish my protein shake. Fun fact about this, I hate protein shakes. I have a really difficult time. I've tried a bunch of different types of flavors, unflavored. I tried this one with just water. I don't eat and drink dairy. It bothers my stomach. I'm sensitive to it. I don't know that I'm allergic, but I definitely notice some adverse effects when I consume like a good amount of it. And so I knew I didn't want to mix any of this with dairy products. And so water was really like the way to go. And so what I did is I found an unflavored protein powder. When I drank it with just the water, it like gave me, I don't know, I had like a reaction. It was not great. And by reaction, I mean like I would gag when I tried to drink it. But now, all I did was I mixed it with water like normal and I put some lemon in it. And now we're good to go. So I think I just needed a different flavor to mask that kind of milky taste. Because even though it's unflavored, this particular protein powder still has kind of like a milk taste to it. And so I think I needed to mask that with something else. So it's just water, protein powder, and a little bit of lemon juice. So it's like a fancy lemon water. But I'm going to finish drinking this. I'm going to shower off, and then I need to do some things around the house. And eventually I will come check back in with you guys on this running video. Say cheese! We are at the end of this 1 month challenge of distance running. I am so glad that I decided to do this. And I have grown a lot. I have reignited my love for distance running, and especially the competing side of it. I already have my eyes set on a race in November. I have not committed to it yet, but I am looking at all of the logistics of training for that half marathon. I also have my eyes set on maybe April of next year, April 2026, doing a full marathon. Marathon running is something that is on my bucket list. It is something I've wanted to do forever and ever and ever. And I had planned to. I wanted to run a marathon before I was 30. I am now 30. Babies and job changes and everything just sort of threw that off a little, but it is still one of the most consistent things on my list when people say, what is on your bucket list, or what is something you would like to do before the end of your life? And running a marathon is one of those things, and it is definitely doable. I think anyone can do it. You can totally walk a marathon. You don't have to run the whole thing. You don't have to be, you do have to be in great shape, but you don't have to be in super Olympian shape. But it's something on my list, and I really want to continue this journey that I have started this month and maybe build to running a marathon in the next year. So I'm really excited. This is something that has been a long time coming, me getting back into running shape, and I will definitely be continuing it. So thanks for coming along with me. I hope this was interesting to you guys. I know it's not writing content. It's not really related to that at all. And I know sometimes you viewers are not coming to my YouTube channel to see other lifestyle content. You want to know the writing stuff and the behind the scenes. So this video was a little bit more for me in the accountability and just for fun, just producing something I can look back on later and be really proud of myself for. So that is the biggest goal of these 1 month challenges, is challenging myself in personal growth and development. So thank you for coming along with me. Check out the description box for all my social media accounts. Like and subscribe here on YouTube if you thought this was really fun, and maybe comment something that a challenge you would like to accomplish in the next month, or maybe in the next year or 5 years, whatever it is. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know. Maybe there's something that sparks some inspiration for me and something I can add to my list, so leave it below. And yeah, as always, thank you guys for watching. Read books, be kind. I'll see you all on the next one. Bye!